Hey church family, I hope you guys are having a great day, and we've been praying for peace for everyone in these crazy days that we've been experiencing and going through. And I want to share with you just a moment, a quick story and a verse that I think is going to bring some encouragement. A few years ago, my brother was on a missions trip in Ghana, Africa, and they had an off day. They were spending some time out by the ocean, and Ghana is not quite like maybe Myrtle Beach or maybe an ocean that you're used to going to where there's lifeguards out and about. And so he and one of his friends were out swimming, and as my brother was out just hanging out, just having a good time, a relaxing day, he got caught in an undertow and began to carry him out to sea. He was swimming as hard as he could, trying to get back to shore, and the harder he swam, the further he went out. And it was just to no avail, as hard as he was working at it, trying to get back to shore. And he just kept getting pulled further away and getting more fatigued and tired, and to the point where he thought, man, this is how it's going to end. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of his fatigue, just exhausted, he feels like he hears God say, stand up. Now, he's a couple hundred yards offshore. Doesn't make any kind of sense. And he's to the fatigue where he feels like if he stands, he's going to go underwater. And he doesn't know if he has the strength to stand back up or to get back above the water. So he keeps swimming, and he hears again, stand up. Feels like hears God say, stand up. So at this point, almost all hope is lost. He's like, what do I have left to lose? So he goes to stand up, and lo and behold, he's on a sandbar a couple hundred yards offshore. Crazy, right? Just a coincidence, maybe. He hears the voice of God saying, stand up. He stands up. He starts to catch his breath. At this point, another gentleman named Peter has come out to try to rescue him, and Peter's in the undertow, and Peter's in the same problem, about to go under. Peter's about to drown. And my brother begins to shout out, Jason begins to shout out to Peter, stand up, Peter. Peter, you got to stand up. Peter's having a hard time processing this because of how far away from shore he is. Finally, he takes the risk because there's nothing left to lose. And he stands up, and lo and behold, Peter is on the same sandbar, and they begin to catch their breath and slowly but surely make their way back to the shore. They collapse and just trying to breathe in all the air that they can. And Jason tells me the story when he gets back. I'm thinking, how crazy is that? And I started thinking about the season that we're in right now. And I felt like tonight that there's some of us right now that we're drowning in a place where we can stand. And here's what I mean by that. John 14, verse 27 says, this is Jesus speaking to his disciples. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give it to you. Do not let your hearts be troubled or afraid. Do not let your hearts be troubled or afraid. Jesus saying, I'm giving you a peace. And so this peace I'm giving is not something the world could match. And in this peace, don't let your hearts be troubled or afraid. That troubled, if you do a study on that word, it has this idea of like a water that's being swirled around, like as the waves break in the ocean and it gets foamy and the sand begins to churn and the water, it gets murky and you can't see and it's just stirred up. That's the image that this troubled kind of gives us. And the afraid is this cowardice that our heart would get. This timidity that say, I'm going to withdraw rather than push forward. And Jesus says, listen, my peace doesn't give you either one of those things. My peace gives you a stillness of heart. My peace gives you not a timidity, but a courage to push forward when everything is screaming, step back. Listen, I don't know how you've been feeling. I don't know if you feel stressed out when you drive by grocery stores, or you feel stressed out when you get in traffic, or a lack of traffic when there should be a lot. I don't know what your triggers might be, but I know this much, that we as believers in Jesus, and maybe you're not a believer in Jesus, and you're struggling with the times we're in, I want to encourage you, you might be drowning in a place where you can stand. You might be going under in a place where if you would just trust Jesus and say, listen, if you lean into me, if you lean into my hope, if you lean into my love for you, if you lean in, you'll find peace. And it's a peace where your heart won't be stirred up, but it'll be still waters. It'll be a peace where your heart won't feel cowardice and timidity and full of fear, but it'll feel courage, ready to step forward, not just to look after your surroundings, but those around you. Look after not only your family, but your community. As a church, as believers in Jesus, we don't have to live lives fearful. We can live lives full of joy, full of comfort, full of his peace, and a peace that would allow us to love people well, a peace that would allow us not to be stirred up, but a peace that would allow us to activate and live in a life in such a way that we can give honor to God, and we can sense his love, and we can sense his comfort. And as we're in those things, we can love not only our family well, but love our community well. Man, may you guys be encouraged. I encourage you tonight, man, if you feel like you're drowning, it's time to stand up, push into Jesus, lean into him. God bless you guys. Look forward to talking to you next time.